They always look for inner glory, inner splendor, inner affluence and abundance, and they are enriched with it. They will be floating in that inner abundance. Mahiyasam, they are called Mahatmas, people with great souls, great insight. Padarajo Bhishekam Nishkinchananam. They are the people who never think of possessiveness at all. If you ask them, do you possess anything? Certainly not. Even my body is held by the surrounding air. My body is held by the food and nourishment which earth provides. I am standing upon the earth because of the gravitational force of the earth. Nothing belongs to me. If I am walking, it is because of earth's gravity. If I am living, it is because the air supports me. I have nothing to be said to be called mine. On the other hand, I myself belong to whom the entire world belongs. This kind of a non-possessive people, unless you prostrate before them, recognize them, go to them, fall at their feet, and your head is bathed in the dust of their holy feet, there is no salvation for the householders, he says. Who? Prahlada. When? He was 7 years old. To whom? Before his father. With a lot of confidence, unshakability. In very clear tones he makes a confession. I have got this kind of a devotion to Lord Hari, not because I was born as your son, because Narada Maharshi happened to give divine narrations to my mother when I was in her womb. See, even a child in the womb is benefited by the narration which the mother hears and understands. It's a wonderful thing. I think these verses are so very profound and important. In these verses lies your salvation. In these verses lies your salvation. Naisham madhistabadurukramangrim sprushatyanartha abagamo yadartha. For redressing all the ills and misfortunes of this world, there is only one way. Be devoted to the Supreme Lord, Lord Hari, and take to the feet of the Mahatmas. Invite them if you can. Go to them, certainly you should. Worship them. Sit in their front. Just like King Nimi is seated before the yogis. He was a Maharaja. He was performing a yaga. The entire yaga was suspended. And along with the Ritviks, the preceptors, the Raja is seated before the Navayogis and he is asking them to speak what? Bhagavata dharmas. Expose them to him. Naisham madhistabadurukramangrim sprushatyanarthapagamo yadartha mahiyasam padarajo bhishekam nishkinchananam navrinitayavad. See, we speak about purity, going to holy places, going to temples, etc. But what is to be purified in us? Will you just think for a while about it? Here is a beautiful statement from our tradition. Atyanda malino deho dehi cha atyanda nirmalaha ubhayor antaram jnatva kasya shaucham vidhiyade. You know, our shastras are wonderful. Anywhere and everywhere, they will give you a number of posers questions for self-evaluation. You may have read quite a lot of things. What have you understood? Just see this verse. Atyanta malino deho. Our body, deha, atyanta malinaha. It is always impure. Anything that comes out of the body is impure. Whether it is the phlegm from the mouth or nose, from the dirt that comes from the eye, or from the ear, anywhere and everywhere you will find. It is all impure substances. Dehi cha atyanta nirmalaha. The wonder is that though the entire body is impure and unholy, it is inhabited by the soul which animates and activates it. And that soul presence, the supra-material presence, it is atyanta nirmalaha. It is extremely pure. So in your personality, you have an impure body plus an absolutely pure transcendental soul. Once you understand the difference between the two, the body is constantly and unalterably impure, and the soul does not need any purification at all. When you understand the difference, Ubhayoho antaram jnatva, understanding the difference well, kasya shaucham vidhiyate, whom are you or what are you going to bathe? Just imagine this one verse. Will you please disclose it and discuss it with your children? These are days when the children refuse to go to the temple. They have no belief. If at all you ask them, except very few children, they will not be interested. So they will ask you, what is the purpose of going to the temple and what do we get? Tell us very clearly. Everyone is for tangibility now. Everything should become evident. So discuss all these philosophical propositions with them. Our body is continuously and unalterably impure, and the soul does not need any kind of a purification at all. Then what is it that is to be purified? Just think for a while. It is your mind. Desire is impurity. Possessiveness is impurity. Hatred and fear, all these are impure. If you have unadulterated love, pure love and fondness, that is pure. Though devotional worship of various kinds is very much in vogue in our country, understand that side by side we also have these spiritual and philosophical propositions. They are conveyed in the form of different texts, different hymns, different adorations. There is a place for them everywhere. This is how, as I said earlier, na kashte vidyate devaha, na pashane na chamrunmaye. Divinity or God is not seated either in wood or in stone or in clay. All these are idols. Bhavehi vidyate devaha. Godhood, divinity, is if at all seated, resides in the bhava. What is meant by bhava? The emotions and emotional urges which spring and emerge from the mind. That is where you have to look for God. When the mind becomes pure, it is fully filled and surcharged with fondness and love for everything in this world. There you will find God also incarnate. Tasmad bhavo hi karanam. Therefore, nurture, foster and nourish and cherish very good attitudes. Never hate anybody. Love if at all. Be tolerant, be compassionate, be sacrificing. Even in dream you should not think ill of anybody else. If your tongue starts chanting the name of God, it is very holy and rewarding. If the same tongue indulges in speaking ill of others, what would be the result, do you think? So, it should be very clear. Why am I saying all these things? Avirhotra ends up the discussion by saying, Evam agni arkato yadav atithau hridaye chayah yajadi ishwaramatmanam achiran muchyate hisaha. The devotion will have to grow into embellishing and enriching, ennobling your interactions. So the Atithi Satkara refers to that. And he has to do sacrifices and worship for the Lord. Which Lord? Ishwaram Atmanam. The Lord who is no other than your own self. So the worship has to be directed towards your own inside, particularly to the inmost self. Vasishtha tells Sri Rama. Sri Rama was in a crisis. His mind was eaten up by disappointment, dejection and dismay. He became totally listless. Now, Vasishtha had to elevate him, extricate him from that plight. So he was speaking to him in a very, very definite manner, in a very heroic manner. Listen to this verse. This is our great culture, the culture of our land. Swayatna matre yadupasako yad tad deiva shabdartham apasya dure shurena sadho padamuttamam tad swapaurusena ivahi labhyatenda. Swayatna matre yadupasako yad tad deiva shabdartham apasya dure. I am wondering whether all of you are viewing and hearing what I say very well, deeply and wholesomely. Just see, it's a very great statement. Perhaps nobody has told you and nobody may also. Swayatnamatre yad upasako yad. In the entire upasana, worship or adoration, what is it that you are finding? You are worshipping God. Saying this, what are you doing? You open your puja room. Who made the puja room? You have made, or your contractor has made for you. And who decorated the puja room? You. With what? With materials. Made where? Made by other people available in the shops. So the carpenter, the mason and so many others came and placed various items in your puja room. You went to the market, bought an idol of your choice. You kept it there. Now the puja room is man-made. The decorations are again human. And all the mantras and tantras, which are the mantras? Which have come out from the mind of man, uttered through the tongue of man. And the puja materials, they also are collected by you. They are kept in different places, different vessels. They also are man-made. And then what are you doing? You sit there. That sitting is again a human act. You close your eyes and you contemplate upon the idol, contemplate upon God. My dear souls, in the whole process, is there anything other than the human alone self-effort? Everything is. The idol is carved or shaped by us. The temple is designed by us, our own architecture. The installation done by us. Sanctifying it or consecrating it is again a human act. And people who come there are humans. They are also doing the worship. In all these things, do you find anything besides you is the question. Or it's all you. Swayatna matre. It's all self-effort. But people call it, I am worshipping God. What? I am worshipping God. Where is this worship and where is this God? In the whole process of worship, has any factor other than you come? God is a concept of your mind. Worship is another concept. And the act of worship, nothing but movements of your physical body, lips, and then again thoughts and thought processes and feelings in your mind, all are identifiable only in your own body. But the Upasaka calls it Tad Deva Shabdartham Apasya Dure. But he gives it a grand name, God. God. I am worshipping God. Don't say that. You are worshipping. The worship is your own exercise. Normally, you do secular and worldly and household chores. Here, making a difference, you sit and you start thinking about God. The thoughts of God are yours. The whole process of worship is your own, nothing else. Understanding in this manner, O Rama was 16 years old at the time. Shurena sadho padamuttamam tad. Understanding in this manner and keeping away the thought or concept of God, my dear noble soul, the best and the supreme abode is attained by the seeker swapaurushena, by exercising his own will and diligence. Lebhyate antaha. Where is this attainment? Not a millimeter away from body. It is in your own mind. When you go to a temple and you are surcharged with devotion, what do? Initially you look at the deity. Gradually when you are gripped with devotion, the eyelids close. And what transpires thereafter is very clearly and unquestionably is within your own body in the mind. So the devotional feelings that you have, the devotional satisfaction or fulfillment you have in the temple, even that is from within you. Swapaurushena ivahi lebhyate entaha. It is an inward attainment of the very human. Swayatna matre yadupasako yad. taddaiva shabdarthamapasya dure shurena sadhopadamuttamam tad swapahurushena ivahi labhyate entaha Seemantam sarvadukhanam apadam koshamuttamam Bijam samsara vrikshanam prajnamandyam vinashayet. I am only giving you some verses from here and there. The dialogue between Vasishtha and Sri Rama is recorded in 32,000 Sanskrit verses, whereas the usual Ramayana is only 24,000 verses. So it is 1/3 more. And all of them are poetic excellence like this. Rama, listen. Seemantam sarvadukhanam apadam koshamuttamam Bijam samsara vrikshanam prajnamandyam vinashayet. You are now steeped in dejection, listlessness. What is this dejection? Caused by your own mind. When you started from the palace, you were very joyous, cheerful and hopeful. After coming back from the pilgrimage, you are completely drowned in dejection. The joy was generated by your mind. The same mind, when you came back, started generating sorrow, grief and dejection. The whole thing is in your own mind. What is the reason, Rama? Hear it from me. Prajnamandyam. It is nothing but the dullness of your intelligence. You are not able to understand matters properly, fully, comprehensively. You have seen a phase of life. You have to think in terms of the whole fullness of creation. After all, the earth is a small speck in the range of the universe. And there are so many beings upon the earth. You a human, I a human. We are puny creatures upon the earth. Who are we to question everything all of a sudden? Questioning is good, enquiry is good. But the enquiry should be dedicated to find the clear and dear answer for it. You should have a fulfillment. So the mandada of prajna, the dullness, the inactivity, the ignorance and delusion which the mind and the intelligence has, this is the cause for all the dukkhas, sarva dukkhanam, miseries. All the dangers and feeling of calamity that you have, misfortune, that is also inhering in this mind itself due to the mandada. Bijam samsara vrikshana. We are led from one birth to another birth, one death to another death. It goes on like this only because of this prajnamandya, vinashaye. That has to be treated and destroyed, he says. So in the 18 days of the conversation that Vasishtha had with Sri Rama, what was Vasishtha doing? Trying to exterminate, uproot, completely evacuate, vacate and destroy the delusion, the ignorance, the narrowness, the confusion, the distortion Sri Rama had in his mind and intelligence. What is the way for doing it? These are some of the verses of Yoga Vasishtha. I have spoken about it from different platforms to make particularly the intellectuals understand what is the stress of our culture. Where does the culture stress? What is the stress? Sundarya nijaya buddhya prajnayaiva vayasyaya padam asadyate rama na nama kriyaya anyaya. Prajna madhya is the cause for it. How to remove it? We cannot get an external weapon or an instrument to treat the mind within. Our neurological surgeons, they sometimes drill into the head to take away some physical obstruction, etc. But has anybody penetrated into the mind and intelligence to remove the delusion from there? No, that is not possible. You have to do it yourself. Everyone has to do it oneself. I can help you, I can instruct you, I can guide you. But the application and process always have to be taken up and pursued by you. Now here are two important factors, Rama. Sundariya, Nijaya, Buddhya. Buddhi means intelligence. Nijaya means one soul. Sundariya means beautiful. In the years of conversation, dialogue and discussion that you had, have you ever used such a word or description? Beautiful intelligence. We generally say a beautiful flower, a beautiful garden, a beautiful man or a woman, a beautiful piece of art, we will say. But my dear souls, beauty is a concept of your intelligence. Ugliness is another. Whenever you see an object in your front, it is the intelligence in you that with the help of the senses, say sensory organ eyes, it gains a glimpse of the object, compares it with so many others, and it finds that this is something very beautiful. Is it an assessment of the eyes or assessment of the mind and intelligence? So, the external beauty is revealed and identified by our intelligence. So the intelligence is the real beautiful factor. It is able to distinguish between beauty and ugliness and tell you where lies beauty and what is beautiful. So the intelligence is the really beautiful element or factor in us. Prajnayaiva vayasyaya. The word prajna indicates the art and process of discretion and discrimination. A number of people are intelligent, but they may not use their intelligence in a proper and an elevating manner. You know, we have so many advocates in the courts. How many of them are given to the task of taking up only genuine, lawful and justifiable cases? There are some clients who will go to the advocates and then say, somebody told me in Malaysia, a high court advocate, one day a client came to him and said, see, we would like you to fight this case, a company case. It does not matter whether we succeed or whether we lose. I would like you to take up this cause. Any extent of fees you charge, we are prepared to pay. And the advocate he spoke to me about, he said, I went through the papers and said, there is no claim for you. I cannot fight it in a court of law and return. He went to another advocate. The case was taken up by him. Ultimately, the High Court seems to have passed strictures against the client, against the advocate. So what is meant by prajna? It is not enough if you have intelligence. That intelligence should have the standard of propriety in the matter of its function and selection. So we must also have that friend called prajna. It's not enough if you have a sharp and a brilliant intelligence, beautiful. It should be assisted, guided or allied with a sharp discrimination also. With the help of these two, Rama, Padam Asadhyate Rama. O Rama, the supreme spiritual abode is attained by these two, na nama kriyaya anyaya. Not merely by chanting the names of God or performing a number of rituals, ceremonies or anushtanas. Can you imagine? This is the structure of Yoga Vasishtha Ramayana. Rama went on listening to Vasishtha. Vasishtha went on speaking. Like Rama, there were other people, including the parents and the others also there. In between, they were so absorbed in their own within that Vasishtha had to stop his narration. So effective it was. Sundarya nijaya buddhya prajnayaiva vayasyaya Padam asadhyate Rama nanama kriyaya anyaya Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi Upanad gudhapadasya nanu charmastritaiva bhuh Nanu charmastritaiva bhuh. It's a wonderful verse. Some of my listeners have sometimes quoted it when they met me the next time. Purne manasi sampurnam. Purne manasi sampurnam. Rama, you went on a pilgrimage. It was your own volition. You went there, looked at everything, and you come back and report to me that everything is miserable. Everything is sorrow instilling. Who says that? Rama, you say. Your mind says.